Ambassador Kethvar of the Hegemony Council floated in his biosuspension chamber, his 6 neural tendrils twitching with agitation as he reviewed the classified intelligence reports. The holographic data streams painted a disturbing picture, one that challenged everything the galactic community believed about the primitive species from Sol 3. "You cannot be serious," growled General Thaxlon, his reptilian features contorting with disbelief. "These humans are barely a Type 1 civilization. They've only just achieved faster-than-light travel. How could they possibly pose a threat to our forces?" Kethvar's ancient eyes evolved over millennia to perceive quantum fluctuations fixed on the general with uncomfortable intensity. "That, my dear Thaxlon, is precisely the mistake the Exarathi Empire made 3 cycles ago." The ambassador activated the central holographic display, showing a star map of the Exarathi territory, or what remained of it. Red markers indicated human settlements that now occupied every former Xerathi world. The expansion pattern was unlike anything the galactic community had ever documented. "The Xerathi attacked a human colony ship," Kethvar continued, his translator conveying the weight of his words. "Standard raiding protocol: destroy the ship, harvest any useful technology, eliminate witnesses." They considered it routine pest control. Dr. Zilnara, the Council's leading xenobiologist, leaned forward from her crystalline perch. Her species had studied over 10,000 different civilizations, mapping behavioral patterns and threat assessments. What made the humans different? Their technology was primitive. Their numbers were insignificant. Kethvar manipulated the display, showing detailed combat footage from the Exarathi archives, the only records that survived the human response. "Watch carefully. This is security footage from the colony ship Endeavour during the attack." The hologram showed a typical human vessel, crude metal construction, chemical propulsion systems, basic energy shields. Xerathi raiders easily overwhelmed the ship's defenses, their plasma cannons tearing through the hull like tissue. Standard procedure dictated the humans would surrender or attempt to flee. They did neither. "Notice the human behavior pattern." Kethvar pointed to individual figures visible through breached sections. Even as their ship died around them, they continued fighting. When their weapons failed, they used tools. When their tools broke, they used debris. When they had nothing left, they used their bodies. The footage showed something that made even the battle-hardened General Thaxlon pause. Human survivors, badly wounded and facing certain death, were methodically destroying their own ship's data cores, ensuring no information could be extracted. They fought not to win, but to deny their attackers any advantage. "The Exarathi logged it as extreme fanaticism," Kethvar continued. "They eliminated the survivors and returned to their territory, expecting no further complications. That was their fatal error." The display shifted to show the timeline that followed. Within 6 standard months, human ships began appearing throughout Xerathi space. Not military vessels, civilian craft, converted freighters, passenger ships retrofitted with makeshift weapons. The attacks weren't strategic, they were personal. Dr. Zilnara studied the data patterns with growing alarm. "This expansion model, it's not conquest. It's something else entirely." "The humans call it justice," Kethvar replied. "But our behavioral analysts have a different term: infinite recursion revenge protocol. When you harm humans, they don't simply retaliate, they commit their entire species to ensuring you can never harm anyone again." The hologram showed captured Exarathi communications from their final days. Desperate pleas for negotiation, offers of reparations, even complete territorial surrender. The human response was always the same: unconditional surrender of the entire Exarathi military structure and permanent human oversight of their civilization. The humans spent 17 years systematically dismantling every Xerathi military installation, space dock, and weapons factory, Kethvar explained. They didn't destroy them, they converted them. Xerathi technology was integrated into human systems. Xerathi personnel were given a choice: serve under human command or face trial for crimes against sentient life. General Thaxlon's combat experience told him this was impossible. No species maintains that level of commitment across multiple decades. War fatigue, resource depletion, political changes, something should have caused them to negotiate. That, Kethvar said grimly, is what makes humans uniquely dangerous. They don't fight wars the way we understand them. When threatened, their entire civilization transforms into a single, implacable organism focused on one goal: ensuring the threat can never resurface. The display showed human settlements across former Xerathi worlds. But these weren't occupying forces, they were permanent colonies. Human families, children playing in alien parks, human agriculture adapted to alien soil. The humans hadn't just conquered the Xerathi, they had become them. Our anthropologists call it existential persistence, Dr. Zilnara added, her translator struggling with concepts her species had never encountered. Humans don't view conflicts as temporary disputes between governments. They see them as threats to their species' survival, requiring permanent solutions. Kethvar activated another display, showing intercepted human communications from the Xerathi campaign. The messages revealed something chilling: the humans weren't driven by hatred or anger. They displayed what their language called cold furies, a calculated, systematic approach to ensuring the threat could never reoccur. Notice the efficiency, he pointed to logistics reports. No wasted resources on revenge killings or destructive raids. Every action served the strategic goal of complete threat neutralization. They didn't want to hurt the Xerathi, they wanted to make it impossible for the Xerathi to hurt anyone ever again. The most disturbing evidence came from captured Xerathi leadership. In their final transmission before surrendering, they had tried to communicate with other galactic powers, warning them about humanity's true nature. "They will never stop," Kethvar quoted the Xerathi message. "Distance means nothing. Time means nothing. They will follow you across the galaxy and through generations if necessary. Do not engage the humans. Do not threaten them. Do not even ignore them. You cannot escape their attention once you have it." General Thaxlon studied the territorial maps with new understanding. Human expansion hadn't stopped with Xerathi space. They were systematically exploring every region the Xerathi had ever visited, establishing monitoring stations and defensive positions. They were ensuring no remnant of the Xerathi military could ever reconstitute itself. The most terrifying aspect, Dr. Zilnara observed, is their reproduction rate in conquered territories. Human population growth in former Xerathi space exceeds their birth rate on their homeworlds. They're not just occupying these regions, they're making them irreversibly human. Kethvar's neural tendrils twitched with ancient fear responses. This is why I've called this emergency session. Intelligence reports indicate the Vorthan Syndicate is planning raids on human shipping lanes. They believe humans are distracted by their expansion projects. The silence in the chamber was profound. Every member of the council understood the implications. "We must warn the Vorthans," General Thaxlon said finally. "And we must ensure no member species makes the same mistake as the Xerathi." Kethvar nodded gravely. "The humans have a saying, 'Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.' They have been fooled once by galactic aggression. They will never allow it to happen again." The session concluded with the most unusual resolution in Council history: a galaxy-wide directive to avoid any action that could be interpreted as hostile toward human interests, not from fear of human military power, but from understanding of human psychological architecture. The humans, it seemed, had redefined the very concept of warfare itself.